Hi guys! Firstly, thank you so much to Paptic team for organising this event and having me here today to present how we at Nirvana make better things for the brands of tomorrow. Big thanks also goes to everyone in the audience for taking the time to listen in. My name is Katie Kubrak and I head up Insight Department at Nirvana CPH. My talk today will explore the topic, The Future of Packaging is Circular. I will start this presentation by introducing Nirvana CPH to these in the audience who might not have heard about us or might have not worked with us just yet. I will then dive into the world of what we do at Insight Department at Nirvana and how is that relevant to today's talk. Finally, I will present 5 macro trends that all collectively contribute to the future of packaging being circular. Without further delay, let me dive in. So at Nirvana, we believe materials have the power to turn a good idea into a great one. Equipped with design thinking, material-driven methodologies, and specialist knowledge in production, we're best at writing sustainable stories for our clients that make them look and feel their very best. And it is our genuine belief that we need to be the change we want to see in the world. So we do our best to make better things that are good for people, environment, and the planet. We generally work across a number of sectors, product categories, and deliverables. This can be across fashion, food and beverage, fintech, beauty, gaming, and sports industries, with output varies across e-com, retail, PR seating kits, installations, R&D, and more. Some of our clients include Burberry, Nike, Soho House, Dunhill, Sheep Incorporated, and Stella McCartney. Some of our other clients will be mentioning in this talk as well. Our services divide into 4 departments: Insight, Studio, Production, and Technology. Together, they create what we call creative production. Now let me go a bit more in depth into Insight and the work that we do at the department. At Insight, we believe that materials are our future, and the way how we choose them determines how that future will look like. For this reason, we closely monitor newest developments, trends, and everything else that happens in the materials world, so that later we can best support our clients in transitioning towards circular economy. Our expertise is offered as a 5-step process. These include audit, define messaging, R&D, CMF design, and prototyping. And then depending on the client we're working with, we could be supporting across only one step or across all of them. Just to let you know a little bit more about each of the steps, I'm going to dive into each of them very quickly. Audit kicks off with a review of current internal and external sustainability ambitions. It is then followed by a supply chain and material audit to gain an in-depth understanding of material flows. All analyzed data is presented in the format of a material map. Defining messaging will usually break down into aligning team knowledge on the topic of sustainability, which is always crucial, explaining topic scientific terms, defining key areas of interest such as carbon footprint or water reduction. Finally, based on clearly defined pillars that we've set with the client together, we can start writing sustainable stories with materials that best convey the chosen brand values. In R&D stage, we research into most sustainable and viable material alternatives relevant to the required function. This is followed by samples review and material development where needed. At the CMF design stage, we use material-driven methodology with which we try to reduce, improve, and consolidate products and packaging for our clients. In order to keep everything that's achieved in this stage and the previous stage is consistent for the foreseeable future and different markets within which the client might be operating, we build brand guidelines for the use of selected CMF. All of the previous steps are concluded with prototyping stage, which serves as feasibility to ensure the packaging has a sustainable solution. With all materials and finishes specified, we produce a tracker with all products mapped out for the client to have a hassle-free transition. We have tailored this process in such a way because material-driven approach enables circular packaging solutions. And I'm here inevitably to discuss the macro trends that will be the building blocks of its future. Based on our experience and years in the industry, it is the belief of our team that the future of packaging are audits and material alternatives. The future of packaging is CMF design. Future of packaging are circular models. Future of packaging is in the numbers that matter. And most importantly, future of packaging is ethical. So now let's dive into the first trend, audits and material alternatives. Whether you are an SME or a multinational brand, the future of more sustainable packaging lies in your supply chain and material audits. Such approach offers a comprehensive and thorough outlook on where you are now as a brand, and there is really no shortcut here that anyone can take. And we've been asked that quite often, but unfortunately there isn't. Everyone needs to go through this process in order to find better solutions that work for you. With this in mind, every brand needs to take the time to look at each of their items individually, assess its supply chain, its material origin, its production processes, resources consumed in this process, and investigate if there are any social implications, as well as understand the end-of-life scenarios for individual elements. This process can be summarized in 4 simple steps. First, review of current internal and external sustainability ambitions to assess where is your marketing communication strategy at. 2, collaborate with procurement teams to conduct a supply chain and material audit in order to gain an in-depth understanding of material flows. 3, summarize all of the findings and analyze where improvements can be made. 4, highlight immediate, mid-term, and long-term areas of improvement in context of circular economy. This process can also just be used for one simple material when you're looking for alternatives to one material. And if you're going with this process, you need to consider source of the material, the making process, energy, water, carbon emissions, and recyclability. On behalf of Nirvana, I've written an article on how this works on a specific material example. If you can Google 6 things to look out for when choosing sustainable papers, you'll be able to easily access this article on Nirvana's website and read about this topic in more detail. Trend 2. The future of packaging is CMF design. To start with, it's important to define the term that I've been using. So, what is CMF design? CMF stands for colors, materials, and finishes. It is a niche field of expertise within the design industry, which represents a material-driven creative approach. So when we speak about this field, it's important to acknowledge its extent, as everything that surrounds us is made out of material that has a color and a finish. And in this context, we should keep in mind that any CMF element will require a resource in order to be manufactured and then produced into shape. And this resource can be renewable or non-renewable. This resource can be regenerative or degenerative. This resource can be green to the planet or polluting. Finally, completed form may have an end-life infrastructure or it may not. Furthermore, such infrastructure can be linear, mixed loop, or circular. With all these connections, we notice how closely interconnected CMF is to global struggle with waste, global struggle with emissions, and generally any excess of staff that was poorly designed in the first place as the creative process didn't consider the full life cycle. So CMF equips the design industry with the power to make a positive impact by helping to design circular material flows and regenerative future for the people and the planet. Best way to start this process is always for the designer to first find relevant CMF to their project, and once that color, material and finish are selected, only then we at Insight suggest for the creative team to move into the design stage. As a result, we will create products where life cycle takes priority. And this approach will help us make better use of resources and materials, whilst it will ensure availability of the end life scenarios. CMF of any brand or product will draw on resources in an incomparable manner, and therefore it will be responsible for the biggest impact and footprint on the environment. Many brands admit that CMF actually accounts for 50 to 80 or even 90% of their footprint. Kering is one of the pioneers in reporting and acknowledging their material impact. Through setting up their circularity ambition or standards for raw materials and manufacturing processes, they successfully adopt CMF approach to be the company that leads the change of tomorrow. Importance of CMF and its environmental impact cannot be ignored by anyone. So even if you're an SME, it is actually easier for you to be agile and incorporate changes quicker in comparison to multinational corporations. For everyone, however, it all begins with selection of renewable and sustainable CMF. For the Newton Somerset, we at Nirvana were asked to redesign packaging for Christmas cakes. And we recommended material that was totally not obvious for this purpose, Paptic. But we recommended it because it offered soft touch, durability, silent acoustics, sustainability, and most importantly, it was 100% recyclable. For Kararu, an exciting new entrant to the premium sustainable swimwear marketplace, we at Nirvana were asked to research and develop sustainable packaging in line with the values of the brand. Each material was carefully considered in light of its own environmental credentials. Some of the cool solutions for the brand included Paptic as a replacement for plastic garment bags and paper that incorporated algae fibers which otherwise would damage fragile marine environments. By adopting CMF design approach, we were able to deliver something not only sustainable, but also great in terms of aesthetics and performance. Trend 3. The future of packaging or circular models. Circular economy is a complex beast, but it is the future of design and production, so the sooner your brand can explore and adopt opportunities surrounding it, the better. And the process of rethinking and redesigning the future with it is where the creativity and innovation will bring us the champions of tomorrow. On this journey, circular economy isn't about one manufacturer or one brand changing one product. It's about all of the interconnecting companies that form our infrastructure and economy coming together. It's about the raw material, processing, energy, transport, and more. It's generally about rethinking the operating system itself and how it can bring value to the people and the planet at large. For this reason, as means of transitioning to circular economy, we have put audits and alternatives as the number one trend coming our way, which we are already implementing across a number of our projects, as you would have seen in our 5-step process that we've adopted within Insight Department. When looking at the 3R waste hierarchy, reduce, reuse, recycle, we can come to a conclusion that so far reduction has been the favored approach. Reducing the weight of bottles and transitioning from glass to plastic, lightweighting across automotive and aviation industries in order to reduce fuel consumption, and so on, and so the story goes. However, the goal of circularity also encourages us to reuse, recycle, and most importantly, rethink our material flows throughout our business operations. Prime example of reduction, yes, but through reuse and recycle that we have found very interesting is a soft mailer solution that has the capability of replacing single-use mailer and or e-commerce box altogether. In this landscape, we have Repack and Returnity offering an off-the-shelf solution for brands to ditch a single use and transition to a packaging that lives in a circular loop for customers always being able to return it to the source. Other opportunity for reduction is replacing heavyweight e-com boxes with cellulosic-based soft mailer solutions that are 100% recyclable. Not only it offers a premium and distinguished look and feel, but it also uses less material while not compromising on durability. One of the most exciting explorations within the topic is brands claiming complete ownership of their materials, while at the same time reducing reliance on virgin materials. In doing so, brands find new ways of recycling their waste into new materials, while simultaneously they establish new circular models of material flows throughout their supply chain and operations. Great examples of making more circular products through incorporation of circular models include L'Oréal Italia upcycling their own waste through collaboration with ICMA and making a premium paper with their own recycled fiber, as well as Adidas Futurecraft Loop Trainer, a project in which brand was able to turn a multi-material product into a mono-material solution that is 100% recyclable. And here we go, trend number 4. The future of packaging is in numbers that matter. Everything we produce will have an impact. And judging by what I said so far, I'm sure you guys are with me on this one. To be able to make a positive change that is trackable, we need to measure it and calculate it. Then as a brand, you can decide on actions to take. You could either offset your impact or begin working towards carbon neutral production through, for instance, transition to 100% green energy. As a result, as part of sustainable efforts and response to market demand, brands are starting to inform their audience about the true environmental and social impact of their choices. Nike's Move to Zero campaign is a great example of following the market demand for sustainable solutions. It presents how transparent communication from brand to consumer can look like. Overall, this campaign aims to put the brand and the consumer on a journey together towards a future where the brand's sourcing, processes, and manufacture of materials will emit zero carbon. Other brands are also following suit. 9 leading cross-industry brands including Mercedes-Benz, Unilever, Microsoft, and Starbucks launched Transform to Net Zero initiative to develop products, services, and business models that help companies achieve net zero emissions. Further help can be found in accessible calculators such as Microsoft Sustainability Calculator, which provides companies with artificial intelligence-driven insights into how they can reduce their carbon emissions. But it is not just multinational and very established brands that are working towards that. Pangaea, one of the most dynamic startups in the fashion world at the moment, is hailed to be one of the most sustainable brands out there, and its communication from brand to consumer shows what transparency can look like. The brand successfully incorporates new calorie counting modeling system, which openly informs the customer of kilometers of driving emissions avoided, days of drinking water saved, and number of t-shirts diverted from the landfill. And last but not least, trend number 5, the future of packaging is ethical, and it's ethical because it is important for both the brand and the consumer to be able to choose right. And to build a path towards sustainable future, we need to choose renewable resources which come from place of social and environmental justice, not from illegal activities and not from sources that lack transparency. This means that in a market demanding sustainability, marketing statement is no longer good enough for establishing credibility, as these often tend to confuse consumers, misinform them, and be later defined as means of greenwashing. This is where the process of ethics, based on which both brands and consumers can make their decisions dependably, makes all the difference. But how can we legitimately compare material options that we have? One of the means is life cycle assessment, LCA in short. This is an assessment process unique to every brand, and many are in the process of establishing it. Unique means that it is customized usually to the needs and sustainable ambitions of a brand. Logitech is a good example of this. They have developed their own LCA capability with sole goal of reliably quantifying the carbon footprint of the product, from sourcing of raw materials through to manufacturing, distribution, consumer use, and products end of life. By introduction of carbon transparency label, the brand will provide a carbon footprint on the product package. However, unless we're using the same software and/or methodology for calculating life cycle, the results might not paint a valid and comparative data. In this notion, established worldwide standards and certifications can be a good place to start. This includes certifications such as OECO-TEX Standard 100, Plastic Free, FSC, PEFC, Carbon Balanced by Worldland Trust, and many more. The reason these offer credible comparison is that they hold strict regulations based on which company holding the certification gets audited and reviewed year on year. These regulations are uniform globally and allow you to compare material producers, but also trace your material sources more efficiently. On the example of FSC, it is an international, non-governmental organization dedicated to promoting responsible management of the world's forests. It has developed a system of forest certification and product labeling that enables people to identify responsibly sourced wood, paper, and other forest products. Not only you as a brand can run a quick check of your suppliers, but also a customer can access public certificate search and quickly find out more information on supply chain and its traceability. On the other hand, certifications can also help you make credible statements, such as that your material or packaging as a whole is plastic free or carbon balanced. To exemplify, World Land Trust's Carbon Balanced program enables individuals and organizations to offset their greenhouse gas emissions through the protection and restoration of carbon rich wildlife habitats in the tropics. At the same time, with many brands and consumers fighting against single use plastic packaging, Plastic Free Mark allows a consumer to very quickly distinguish offering that is aligned with their values and brand expectations. And this now simply concludes 5 trends that I have prepared for you today. So thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to listen in. Please follow Nirvana CPH on LinkedIn, Instagram, and any other social media. Also, feel free to connect with me to ask any follow-up questions or just simply geek out on materials. We're generally here to help and assist with anything that you might be considering, thinking about, wanting to research. So just get in touch with us and let's make future of packaging circular together. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Bye bye for today and hope to speak soon. Bye.